have, of course, the Halloween parties, and at Disneyland it's called Mickey's Halloween Party, and correct me if I'm wrong, Walt Disney World is Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Good job, Becca.
Thanks. So they're a little bit different, but they're both at, ours is at Disneyland and yours is at Magic Kingdom, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
At Walt Disney
Yes.
World? Okay. So we'll just kind of go back and forth and talk a little bit about them. So at Disneyland, ours run about 3 nights a week. It starts, I had the dates up on my computer and then I realized I couldn't switch to my other screen without losing and not be able to see, then I wouldn't be able to see. But I think it's like the last Friday in September or next to last Friday, and it goes Monday, Wednesday, Friday every week until the week before Halloween. It's Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, and then Halloween is the very last one. And at Disneyland, the price varies depending on when you go, and it can be as low as $79 or it's $89 on most Friday night ones, and then the last 2 are $99. And then annual passport holders can get a discount for to make it, I think, $72 if they purchase ahead. But that's only on the weekday ones, I believe, this year. Don't quote me on that because I can't remember for sure. So it's gone way up, I feel like, over the last few years. And then the big change for Disneyland's on the price this year is ours does not include parking. And every other year before, it has included parking. You still get in the 3 hours before the event starts, but it does not include parking. And at Disneyland, I believe parking is now, well, last time I went was $17 an hour, but that's been price increase since, or $17 a day. So I think it might be $18 a day now, but I'm not sure. So what is the basic rundown of the Walt Disney World party, Mary?
It actually quite similar, except for our start, and the reason why it's fall at Disney on this one, starts September 2nd. So they get in as many dates as they want. There's really no rhyme and reason. Like you have 3 a week. Theirs are a little bit more spread out over time, and they go through to October 31st. The pricing you even mentioned was the same. So it looks like they've standardized them, and Walt Disney World people never got parking included, so they always had that. And ours is, I believe it's $18 also right now. The one thing is there are some pretty decent discounts. You mentioned the one for annual pass holders. That one went out there. It's also DVC members, so they get about, what, $10 off. But I'm going to tell any military people out here, you've got the one to go for. In September, if they go, they can get prices down to $50. So
wow.
Military people, take advantage of that if you're at Disney in fall.
I don't know how early they sell out at Walt Disney World, but at Disneyland, they're going to probably sell out most of their dates by the 1st of October, I would imagine. Do you know if they sell out there pretty quick? Or
weekend nights, they will typically sell out, mostly in October. September, you can probably get them day of. There'll be a sign out front saying there are tickets available for any day that you're looking for. So I've had pretty good luck. Check with your concierge. I wouldn't go down to the park to buy them. Just talk to the concierge, and they can see if there are any available during your stay. So you could probably score one during your stay.
Okay.
For most, except for Halloween, they're going to be gone the day they go on sale.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's how it is for Disneyland too. The Halloween and the week before go pretty quick, and the weekend ones they're gone quick. So, and the big thing for Mickey's Halloween Party is you get a dress and costume, and we all know that Disney has made some changes to their costume guidelines for the parks, and so everyone's wondering what are the rules for the costumes this year. And I know they're the same at Walt Disney World and Disneyland, so I'm just going to let you give that information, and we won't repeat it twice. So what is that? Mary, I think you have that.
Okay. The biggest thing is everybody can dress up. In fact, they encourage it, and that includes adults. Normally on every day, adults aren't allowed to dress up at Walt Disney World. The Halloween parties is the one exception to that, so they do encourage it. There have been some changes this year, and it really has been around the security. They're discouraging older children, or older in adults, anybody 14 and older, from wearing like layered costumes or big cutouts that totally surround them, because that'll be a security issue because you can hide things within them. The ones that have always been around is obstructing vision, so masks on top of faces are not allowed in the park. And then there's a lot of things like weapons that sort of look like weapons, so swords, make sure it looks like a plastic sword versus something that's a little bit more real. And then they also put some disclaimers in here that if Disney thinks it's offensive or it looks like it may be a threat, they will remove you from the park. So a little bit more. Used to be just guidelines about safety as far as the kids being able to see. Now it seems to be more towards safety of everybody else in the park.
Exactly. And of course another one is if you're an adult and you wear a character costume, they don't want you looking or like signing autographs or looking too much like the face characters and the other characters at the park. So you got to be careful of that. And definitely don't pose for pictures. If people, that it may flatter you that your costume's that great, but don't stop and pose for pictures because that is a big, big no-no worth it. Then, of course, everyone wants to know, we talked about the prices, and the question is it worth it? My friends that are Disneyland locals are in shock this year over the price increase. So they're all debating if they're going to go this year or not. People have gone every year. So is it worth it? And so I'm going to say on a Disneyland standpoint, I think it's worth it to go at least once in your lifetime. You get less crowds. You get a ton of candy. I mean, we've all seen the pictures. If you haven't gone yourself, you get more candy than you will ever need. And of course, there's special events like at Disneyland. They're bringing us the Headless Horseman this year. That's new. We've never had that before, so that's new for us. You have the Halloween parade, and then the fireworks, and of course all the villains out for you to get pictures with and stuff. But I don't know. Do you guys think it's worth it at Walt Disney World? Any of you that have been, chime in on this. If you've been, did you think it was worth the cost to go? So, have any of you gone? I don't know if any of you have gone.
I have not. My husband and son have gone. And I think it goes to that depends if you can get out of it. If your kids want to see these interesting characters, they can see Mickey and Minnie in Halloween costumes or enjoy the dance parties. I think it is worth it once. I don't know if I'd do it a lot. I will say I watched the Hallowishes from the Contemporary. I think that is probably the most impressive fireworks display I have ever seen. And that is worth seeing once, even if you're not at the park, staying off-site. So that one, I can't imagine what it would be like standing in the middle of the park. At the Contemporary, when this fireworks display goes on, all of the cars that have security are going, you hear them all start to go off. I mean, they're that big. I was floored. My husband was trying to get me prepared for it, and I'm like, no, and it's that big. I just can't stress that they really go all out on this party. So it's definitely worth one time, and even hanging out there and watching the costumes, I think is worth it too.
Yeah, I think it's a one-time thing, and especially if you're going to replace your, like, let's say you're going on vacation around Halloween. If you're not going to go trick-or-treating, you're going to get so much candy at this, and then the short lines can sometimes be worth it for people, and of course you get in 3 hours before, so you can be there a little bit longer. It can be an extra day at the park. For me also, though, I think it just depends if those extras are worth it, because I don't know Walt Disney World how much they go out decor-wise and stuff. But at Disneyland, of course, we have Jack Skellington who takes over the Haunted Mansion, and they already have him out doing meet and greets. We don't have to meet him at the party. He's out all the time, and all the villains, they have him out most of the day. So for me, if it's the villains you're wanting to see, it's not worth it because you can meet most of them during the day too. But if it's the special events, the lower crowds, and the candy, if that's what you want to do, then it's worth it. But I will say, if you're not going to go and you are going to go to the parks the days that there is a party and you have a park hopper, I strongly suggest going to Disneyland the day of the party because it will be dead in the morning. There's nobody there. we hopped on ride after ride after ride after ride, and we did almost every ride in the park by lunchtime because nobody was there because everyone was coming in for the party. So they were coming in the afternoon, and everyone else was hanging out in California Adventure. So that's what ages of kids that would like it. I think like Disneyland's, I think almost any age would really like it, unless you have a kid that is a little timid, a little scared, because you're out in the dark, there's all these costumes, they're not people, you know, so some kids do get scared. So I think it's just like everything else, you have to base it on your personal kid. It's not really a specific age, but I don't know, is that how it is kind of for Walt Disney World?
Well, I've never done a Halloween party, so I mean, I would imagine it's probably the same. We've got a lot of adults that are dressed up and a lot of other kids that are dressed up, and you know, they should all be family friendly, but it can, you know, be a little scary, I guess, for, like, you know, if he's already, you know, the little one's already a little timid in certain situations. But you know, just like any other day at the park, you know, you avoid those situations when you can, and maybe give them a little extra time to, you know, like, get acclimated and get used to it.
Yeah.
My thought on the whole thing is, if obviously you know your child better than anyone else does, and if you're wondering whether you should get tickets, but you're not sure because you do have a timid child, then I would think that you wouldn't want to waste or risk the waste of money, and because, you know, then nobody's happy and everyone's upset because Timmy didn't like it, and so forth, and it just makes for more stress than you ever need. So if you're worried about your kid being timid, then don't bother. Wait till they're a little bit older and maybe go try it another time, you know?
Exactly. All right.
I would just say that if you're going to the Halloween party, if it's anything like my first experience at the Christmas party, you got to have a plan, because you have a limited amount of time and there's so much to do. And if you want to see characters, you're going to wait online for them. And if you want to, you know, make sure you see the fireworks and the parade, you got to make sure that you're in your spot so you can get to, you know, get a good view. And it's you pay all that extra money to do it, so you got to have a plan. The last thing you want to do is walk around, you know, try and figure out what you're going to do, and if you can, maybe eat before, you know, load up on a big lunch, you know, so you're not hungry, so that's less, you know, time you're wasting, you know, getting something to eat. Yeah, at the Christmas party, we ended up walking around the whole park, you know, just looking for something to eat, and the next thing you know, we wasted, like, you know, over an hour, close to an hour and a half, you know, and we didn't, you know, get to do as much. So learn from us, have a plan.
Yeah, and utilize that 3 hours before. You know, you can get in 3 hours before the party starts. Utilize that. That's, if you do want to eat at the park, that's a good time to eat. Or get over to the area you know you want to start at for the party. But definitely do that. For those that don't know, like, I don't know how they do it at Walt Disney World, if they use your magic bands or if you get a separate paper wristband. But at Disneyland, where we don't have all that high-tech stuff yet, they just they give you a wristband, and so they start shoveling, urging people to leave, and they start escorting people out as the time rolls around for the party. And so you have 3 hours there that other guests are still there. Use that to eat or to, you know, get whatever you need done, to get your locker if you need one, that kind of stuff. So we will see you guys next time, and thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.